From Rennet and Ryan, I'll put that knife down, and I'm here to talk to you about a box that you may have received as a gift or you bought for yourself. We've received a massive influx of people who've opted for our subscribers boxes in January, which is amazing. I think that's because a lot of people bought our mystery cheese box edition, which is like a special, which I've worked on for like a year. It's 6 cheeses. So, welcome to those new people, and hello again to our loyal subscribers who have been buying every month. So, I suppose I'll introduce myself. I'm Perry. I'm from Rennet and Rind. I'm the person responsible for looking after these maturing rooms. I'm an affineur. An affineur is a French translation for someone to refine. Literally, I look after cheese, brush, wash, turn, batch select, make sure they're at the best, and then obviously sell them and let people taste them and give them the best chance that they can to being people's favourites. I've also won Affineur of the Year 2 years in a row, so that makes me hopefully qualified to select your cheeses, and I'm a world cheese judge, so yeah, I'm a cheese guy, and this is my selection for January. So we've had a big month in December, a lot of food, a lot of rich food in particular. So the idea is in January that we settle a little bit down. We'll still have some amazing flavors, but something that's a little bit more easygoing so you can kind of come back to. So in your box, you would have got the tasting notes, you would have got some care instructions in there as well. And obviously a QR code to come listen to me. So let's get stuck in, eh? So the first cheese we have up is Sussex Brie. So Sussex Brie is a Brie style, of course. It has it in its name. It's made by Arthur down in, of course, Sussex. That also has it in its name. Now, Sussex Brie, we've got these big, like bombastic kind of, I'm using that word, bombastic bries that are really complex. But the idea is to kind of dip a little bit into simplicity, make you guys work a little bit for the first one. Don't be too over like crazy with the flavors, but nice and mellow. And I think Sussex Brie does that. It's a great place to start. It's got this kind of bloomy rind on the outside, which is recognisable in Brie style cheeses. That's how you can identify it. We haven't got like a too runny texture. You know, we've got a little bit of squish to it. Nothing too crazy, nothing too unctuous, but just a nice balance. So let's have a sniff. So we're getting a little bit of mushroom, kind of raw, not sautéed. Like some of those deeper, runnier cheeses, you get that sautéed, but you're getting more mushroom on the top, more dairy, milk, light, not too overpowering. Let's have a taste. I say cut off the nose, by the way. You know. By the way, these sizes are like just my size for today. You get like literally 4 times the amount of this. So let's have a taste. So good texture, really light. I mean, you immediately glide through it when it's on the palate. Dairy, touch of cabbage, touch of mushroom, easy going, really enjoyable. When it leaves that palate, that kind of like milkiness really aggressively comes through. And it coats the palate really nicely. Beautifully gentle, actually. I mean, it's a strange one. I think, I'm always the one for like massive flavors and complexity. But after December and you've had so much, this is like there's a lot of kind of masterfulness in the kind of like simplicity. Sussex Brie, really great one first up. Next cheese we have, Spenwood, which is a sheep's milk cheese. You know, like we used to be, before the Romans came, really big on our sheep's cheeses. It's kind of like what you could shear them, they'd grow wool out again. You know, they were kind of completely renewable. So we did a lot of sheep's cheeses back in the day. And I see this kind of growing sheep and goat movement in the UK, and we're really good at it. And this is Spenwood. It's made by Village Made Cheeses. It's a wash rind, I say more pecorino style. Some of you may be familiar with more like manchego, and it's aged. And it's got this beautiful kind of like ivory texture, perfect all the way through, like in terms of gradients that come through. It's got a really nice aroma, that kind of savory, little bit of meat, but a lightness, a slight floral that's in there. Very, very pleasant. And this is like a nice, once again, like gentle, not too abrasive one, which is good. Let's have a taste. Love that. It's got like this granular roux texture to it, and that comes through on flavour. That kind of wheaty flour, savoury, nice zip to it, loads of length actually. Not going to attack, like as I keep on saying, I'm going to keep on reminding you, not going to attack your senses. There's a nice build up after the first cheese we had. Like, remember guys, eat the cheeses in order. They're in this order for a reason because they're all going to do interesting stuff to one another. Loads of length. This one's really good as well. Like, this is like my number one cheese that I kind of have in my fridge a lot. Not only it's like a banging cheese ball cheese, if you leave it in your fridge and it dries out a little bit, it's a great pasta topper. I mean, I used a lot of this in a carbonara the other day and it was amazing. So that is a really like good cheat sheet to have a amazing cheese ball cheese, but also adaptability that's kind of like in there as well. Next cheese up, one of like my favorite cheeses. So this is Yoredale, used to be called Old Rome Wensleydale. And it's a proper Wensleydale. I can just see them stacked up. We've got about 30 of them over there because Christmas, Wensleydale, people go crazy. But the difference is, it's a proper Wensleydale, right? Wensleydales are just getting such a bad rap in the supermarket. It's like Wensleydale and ginger. Do you know I saw Wensleydale and tiramisu the other day? I mean, we're really alienating people to kind of not like some of our heritage cheeses. Wensleydale is one of our oldest cheeses we make in the UK. The Sistine monks brought it over. It used to be made out of sheep's milk. And there's this new contingent coming through that's doing the old methods, the way it's meant to be made. And the amount of people that I show this cheese and they go, oh my God, that's like completely different from Wensleydale, just is so telling in how far we've come. So we've got this kind of light white texture on the outside. They're more dark and moldy actually when they're in the maturing rooms. We've got this kind of beautiful kind of yellowish texture from the cow's milk that comes through. Slice is really nice. It's really strange. As soon as you slice it, you'll know you're in for a different journey than supermarket Wensleydale. Supermarket Wensleydales are just water, moisture, lemon, and that's it. And Yoredale just has this amazing level of complexity, which you have to dig around for. Like territorial styles, I always say, they shouldn't be defined by a territory name. They should be designed by how much actually you have to engage with it. You have to engage more in the aroma. Like you've got more of that kind of like lemon, citrus, grass, touch of terroir. Like there's a bit of like minerality to it, dare I say, like Provence almost kind of about it. You know, particularly on the rind, you've got a little bit more of that mustiness that comes through. And then when you eat it, so it's quite sticky. The crumble's still there, but it's quite sticky. And that helps the flavour prolong. You get this massive zip of lemon, like right at the front. Then it moves into like Greek yogurt as the dairy comes at the back. Then creme fraiche. And that holds for so long. I mean, like, that's the key difference with artisan cheeses is they hold. And, you know, you'll be tasting these a long way off. Delicious. And such a beautiful family as well. Ben and Sam Spence. You literally go to their house. On the left is their kitchen. On the right is their cheese making room. I love what they've done with Wensleydale. For me, it's one of my favourite cheeses of last year. Because it'll be last year now. And I always want people to try it. Because I just think it's just such a good example of something that's been lost through mass production and how we're so good at bringing it back. Yoredale, lovely cheese. Really nice to cleanse that palate. Now we're going into something a little bit more, once again, more subtle, but a very cool cheese. This is called Alpen Cheddar. This is like arguably the only continental one I've done. I haven't done this in the box for ages, but it's an amazing cheese. It's probably the most challenging, but like, approachable cheese. 9 times out of 10 in the shop, I try this with people, they really like it. You know, we've got that kind of, what I'm going for here is a mix of flavors, of the simple flavors, but as well as textural differences. So we've got a little bit more pliancy in this one. You know, so this is, let me tell you a little bit about this. This is interesting. This is Alpen cheddar. So this is Bavarian curds. So arguably the only continental cheese I do, mixed with Devonshire cheddar curds, the lovely Mary Quick. And you get this kind of interesting, nuanced flavour that goes in. It's kind of like Frankenstein's monster. It shouldn't work. It never does, but it really, really does actually. So let's have a taste. Really cool. You've got this like berry, nut kind of vibe. You can get the like a little bit of tang in there. So not too cheddary. You get this nice savouriness, which is kind of a bit chickeny. And the texture's like really cool, the way that you kind of have to work with it. You have to chew. I always say open up that palate. On your tongue, 5 tastes, in your nose, thousands. So the more chewy the texture, yeah, and it's got like a little smokiness towards it near the rind. Really Moorish. I think that's what this board is actually, like really Moorish. Like, because there's not anything like destroying your palate, you can keep on going and going, which is great. Next one up. Now this is good for like people that like know our range and what we do. So this is Young Buck, made in Northern Ireland by Mike's Fancy Cheese. It's an unpasteurised Stilton. Obviously, it can't be called Stilton. 1, because it's unpasteurised. 2, because it's made in Northern Ireland. Needs to be made in the 4 counties. But all intents and purposes, it is a Stilton recipe. And these ones, because they're unpasteurised, usually I put them in the box when they come through quite gnarly and quite like aggressive and big. Where this has kind of in our shop over the Christmas been the kind of blue convincer, we'd say, you know, because an interesting thing has happened. Now, the bluing hasn't spread that much. We've got these kind of like clumps of blue rather than the tributaries, kind of like the veining. So you've got kind of a lighter texture that's on the cheese. Lovely cut as well. And it's interesting because on aroma, it's still very Stilton. Quite dialed down, actually. You're getting that kind of typical biscuit, savoury, little bit of must that's in there, more fruit, which is interesting. But it does an interesting thing, this profile. Up front, it's quite fruity, and then at the back, it's definitely Stilton. So it's quite approachable for people who don't really like Stilton because, let's have a go. So you're getting that kind of banana almost, like fruit. I think Mark was telling me that it's banana, and I was like, yeah, I get that. And then at the back, kind of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style, hidden cheese, you're getting that Stilton, but kind of savoury, meaty, Parma ham, beefy kind of element. But because it creeps up on you, it's quite interesting, because I don't think there's a lot of people that will recognise that Stilton element in such an aggressive way. I think it's like that easygoing fruit, a little bit of crumble, kind of not too dissimilar from the Wensleydale that we just had. Then once the air hits the palate and it kind of removes, then you're in that area of salt, savoury. And it's a very cool cheese. Really, like, I'll be honest with you, when I cracked these open, I was like, oh, maybe it won't be our best-selling kind of blue type this Christmas. But it's been a really good seller because it's like we've got this whole kind of thing going on, which is very different and makes it very, very approachable. Lovely. That's Young Buck. And they're your 5 cheeses. Really like this board for January, by the way. Nice and light, easy going, good flavours, work together, texturally we're ticking all the boxes. Love it, pat on the back for me. I'll be taking these home and sharing them with the family. So that's me, Perry, Rennet and Rind. Enjoy your cheeses. And to all the newer subscribers, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we don't let you down over the next 12 months or how long you decide to subscribe for. And have a great January. Thank you.